Okay, welcome back to Financial Fix with Sharnella, and I have a group of students here. I'm going to let their coordinators introduce.
This is the Greater Pontiac Youth Movement. We reach out to youth from Oakland County. Our heart is in Pontiac, so we spread beyond, reaching all of Oakland County. We have partnered with the Better
Detroit Youth Movement, yep. And we've been around for about 20 years now. We are a volunteer-led organization of incredible individuals like Sharnella, like Charity, and incredible young people, like all of them at the table, who understand that we're all here to be a blessing. And what we find is when you help a young person understand that they're here to help others, they feel better about themselves, they feel better about the world. And so all of these young people here will be leading the Greater Pontiac Youth Movement, and I'm so excited what they're about to do.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And I'm here because, of course, I teach financial literacy, responsibility, and I want to have the opportunity to learn from these young individuals how I might understand the youth better. I think the best way that I can touch a young person's life and make an impact is to really understand them and be able to communicate with them in the language that is most effective for them. So I'm here today because I truly want to understand how to connect with you. I'm 50 years old, so it's been a long time since I've been your age, right? And probably some of you are looking like, oh my God, I didn't realize you were that old, but yes, I'm 50. So it's been a long time since I was a teenager, and so I want to better understand if I'm on a stage speaking in front of you about a topic that you may not necessarily believe is important in your life at this moment, how might I do so in a way that you would really pay attention and you would put your cell phone down and you would really listen to me? So, and this isn't a trick question, this is just something for you to think about. Imagine yourself in an audience and I'm going to give you this sort of speech. What would you say I could do to improve upon that, to make it interesting for you guys? Does anyone want to give me any suggestions?
Maybe a little bit of hands-on.
Okay, hands-on. Okay, and in what way?
Like, maybe show us some, I don't know.
Maybe some games or something?
Yeah,
Okay.
and maybe some papers, I'm not sure.
Okay. Because one of the things that I think is very important, do you have something you want to say? Would you like to add something? Okay. Because one of the ideas that I had is to visualize where it is you want to be in the future. Because it's just like going on vacation. Have you guys ever gone on a vacation? Yeah. Okay. Now what do you have to do before you go on vacation? Save. Ah, there you go. You got to save for it because you have to be able to afford it, right? I think you had your hand up. Okay. What else you have to do? You're right. You have to pack your stuff, right? Okay. But okay. But what's the very first thing that you have to do before you go on vacation?
Okay. You have to pay for it?
Well, you have to have a destination. You can't just wake up and say, oh, I'm going on vacation. Well, where, right? You have to have a point A and a point B, right? So what I like for people to think about is, where do you want to be down the road? What is your final destination? And then we back it up from there. So if your final destination is, I want to be a millionaire, what do you have to do? What are the steps that you have to make in order to be able to get there? And I know some people will say there's a lot of things that you can do without money, but I'm going to be truthful with you. You do have to have money to make money. It doesn't necessarily always have to be your money, but it has to be someone who believes in you, believes in your dream, your goal, in order for them to loan you money. And you have to be credit worthy. So in my course, I talk a lot about choosing the right career path because some jobs are great, some jobs are good, some jobs are less desirable. So when keeping that in mind, no matter what job or career that you choose to take, whatever path you decide to take, real estate in my opinion, should always be one of those things that you do either as your primary source of income or as a secondary source of income. And as you get older, you'll learn one thing. You can't just have one source of income, because what if you're working a job and then all of a sudden you get sick and you can't work anymore? What happens? The income stops. But if you are in real estate, there's many ways in real estate where you can make income while you're sleeping. Do you guys want to know how to make money while you sleep? Okay. Well, there's a lot of different ways in real estate that you can make money, which is the reason why I love real estate. Not only am I a financial coach, motivational speaker, but I'm also a realtor. I'm a real estate investor. So I am a money lender as well. Okay, but money lending is probably way on the back end, because you have to have tens of thousands of dollars in order to do money lending, in order to make any money. But in the beginning, you can purchase properties. You know, some of it would have to be with your money. Other portion of it can come from an investor's money, where if you find a really great property, say you find a property that's worth $200,000, but it needs about $50,000 in repairs, and you can purchase it for $50,000. So now you're all in for about $100,000, because you're going to purchase it for $50,000, you can renovate it for $50,000. On the back end, when you're done, it's worth $200,000. You find someone like me, a realtor, or if you're a realtor, you put it on the market, you sell it, you make a profit. You pay back whoever you borrowed the money from initially, and then you now have your own capital to get started in your own business, right? So first, you have to find the property, and one of the ways you do that is there's wholesalers in real estate, okay? I think I'm kind of getting beyond you guys. This is really a lot of information, but a wholesaler is a person who goes out and they find properties that nobody wants anymore. And then they'll come to a person like me and they'll say, hey, Sharnella, you know, this owner of this property no longer wants their property. They don't have the funds to repair it. So do you want it? Okay, so what if I came to you and said, I got this property, it's worth $500,000 once it's all fixed up and repaired. But I'm asking you to pay $250,000 for it. Do you think that's a good idea? If you pay $250,000 for it, and you only have to put another $100,000 into it, that's $350,000 in, but it's worth $500,000 back in. Do you think that's a good deal? Yeah, it is. Because there's a potential profit there of $150,000. And I'm using big numbers, and I'm sorry about that, because normally, like I said, I'm working with adults, but I've changed the way that I want to do things. I really believe that the youth is where I will make the most impact. So for easy numbers, I could back the numbers down for you to make it a little easier.
So one of the things that we are going to do with Sharnella is learn about investing. And while we may be talking little numbers now, we're going to start small, but think big. We're going to start small, but keep adding to the pot, so what's in the pot grows. And then we're going to lean on Sharnella to guide us in terms of, okay, we have this much money in our big pot now. What do we do with it? Because the three most important things you want to do with money, sure, you can spend some of your money, but I always encourage you to save and invest first.
Exactly.
Most people spend their money first. You have to change your mindset. So if you want to be a millionaire, there's a mindset that you need to adopt, and that's where Sharnella is going to come in on a regular basis to make sure that you guys are on the right track, on the right path to financial success, financial freedom.
And we're going to learn a term that you may or may not have heard. Is called compound interest. So when I was developing my growth in real estate, when I made profits, I didn't go out and buy a great, a nice purse. I didn't go out and buy a fancy pair of shoes or fancy clothing, to show off. All of that profit, I took it and I reinvested it. And then that reinvestment made profit, and I took that reinvestment and profit and I invested it again. So it just continues to compound on top of each other. Oh, invest means you look at a potential opportunity, an opportunity to make money. And so you take funds, you can invest your time and your money into a particular opportunity that when you, how should I say it? When you move forward on that opportunity, it then becomes a potential investment. And sometimes with some investments you make money, sometimes you don't make money. So you have to be very careful with the investment. So in real estate, I don't want to give the impression that you're always going to make money. No, you have to make the right decisions. Because like anything else, if you put money in and it's the wrong type of investment, you may not get your money out and you may lose some money. So it's very important to understand what is a good investment and what isn't a good investment. So it's kind of like taking a chance. That's what an investment is, except you're taking an educated chance. So you're going to do your homework first before making a decision.
About another minute or so.
Okay.
And again, Sharnella will be coming back and working with us throughout the life of our program. So we're going to be leaning on her. She's amazing. She's going to teach all of you how to be a millionaire. How beautiful is that? What I want you guys to do, when you're ready, let us know when you're done. We're going to give her a big round of applause and thank Sharnella for being a part of our group.
I have one more question for you guys. Is there anything that I can do other than, I think you said playing some games, what else might I do to keep your attention? And you can be honest, am I boring right now? Or, okay. Okay.
We have to go more into that about investing in compound interest.
Okay, I definitely will do that. You're definitely interested. Okay.
What is the word? What was the word that you just taught them? The word, I just want to know if they were paying attention.
Okay.
So you said it was an educated guess and taking a chance, but what was that word?
Invest. You got it. You got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Sharnella will be teaching you different words, different terminology in the financial sector that we are going to learn so that when she's saying things to us, we know what she's saying. Because I don't always know what she's saying when she's talking to me.
Property in this ugly state. And in one of my properties, I hate spiders, there was this ugly spider hanging, in the middle of the room, and the house had mold all over it. But it was a beautifully ugly house, right? It was a hoarder's home. So maybe when I do my presentation, I'll show that particular house. I'm telling you, it was a house of horrors, really. It would be great for Halloween.
And we'll do some site visits with Sharnella. We'll get to see some of her property. The before and after is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so but this house was probably too much of a hazard. We had to wear masks and booties. So I went back mid-stage and then at the end, and you can see how the property went from an ugly, terrible state, and then you see a portion of its transition, and then you see the end stage.
Right, so guys, by show of hands, how many of you are interested in being a millionaire? I will put both of my hands up when I'm tired. Okay. Mark, you're not interested in being a millionaire? Why not?
I'd rather be more than that. So.
Oh, you can be a multi-millionaire.
2 snaps and a
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And Mark brings up a very important point. Money is not the most important thing in the world. From my perspective, it's faith. It's knowing that there's something bigger than you out there that is going to help you get through life's challenges the best that you can. A lot of people make a lot of money and they're still unhappy.
Yeah.
You hear about lottery winners, for instance, who hit it big, and 6 months later,
Yeah. And another thing about that too, funny you mentioned lottery winners because I do mention that in my book. It doesn't matter how many millions you have, if you don't know how to manage that money, you're going to lose it.
Yep.
So if you can't manage a small amount of money, you certainly can't manage millions.
Yep.
And so that's why it's so important at this very young age that you guys learn that in the early stages, My motto is, you save and you save and you save until you can't save anymore.
It doesn't take $1 million. You can start with $5. You can start with $8, and you build on top of that. So these numbers seem big, but it starts with something small. And so if you don't have a goal, that's when you more likely will blow it. And if you don't have somebody advising you, and a lot of us didn't have people advising us, which is why we have.
Exactly. My parents, I actually learned what not to do by looking at my parents. Because, my mom, she always had a closet full of clothes. Some of them still had the tags on them where she hadn't even worn them. But she would always talk about her credit card debt. And I would think to myself, well, stop buying so many clothes. This is as a kid. So nobody taught me financial responsibility. This was something that, as an adult, I decided that I didn't want to live paycheck to paycheck. I didn't want to have the massive credit card debt that, my mom had. And my dad was struggling too. They both, even though they had a college education, they both still struggled and worked a couple of jobs. And that's another thing. Education is great, but you have to choose the right path, right? And in this coming age, we've got AI. So you really have to be careful in choosing a career that you're going to actually have a job 10, 15, 20 years now.
So let's all give Sharnella a big round of applause. It's so important to be in control of your money rather than let money control you. So again, Sharnella will guide us. Think you plant the seeds to grow the forest. And she's going to plant those
Yes.
seeds in us so that we can grow the forest. Does that make sense?
Yeah, here's her book that she
Okay.
wrote.
And
Thank you.
lastly, so when I just talked to you briefly about making money, when you make money, it's not just spending that money. The first thing we do is we save. The next thing we do is we learn to invest. And then it's okay to spend a little bit. Thank you again, Sharnella.